Hi, everybody. I'm Elfrida Schragen. I live in Victoria, British Columbia, and I've been doing artwork most of my life, but more seriously since I retired from being a teacher. I'm going to be giving a presentation on Monday, April 26th, and in that presentation, I will share with you my last three major charitable projects. And I will also go through my process of portrait painting. And hopefully you will then get an opportunity to ask questions and pursue things further. So, and just as a little taste right now, I'll just show you some of the work I do. So the first one is more of landscape. It's not a portrait. So for a long time before I got into my projects, I was doing what we call plein air painting, and that was painting in place out in the outdoors, which is a beautiful thing to do, and it requires a certain amount of speed as you're trying to capture basically the essence of what you see, color and light. It's not detailed painting like you might do in a studio, but it's incredibly rewarding, and it's become very big all over the United States and Canada. Okay, second one, please. In 2007, I had just completed a month of fasting, and at the end of the month, it came to me during that time. We were suffering from a large number of homeless people in our city, and they were working to build a building to support all the facilities that these people would need. And so I painted a project of many of the clients of our homeless population. And this is just one of them. This is Raven. That gives you an idea of what I did. Those were later sold, and we made close to $30,000 on that project. I think I can't remember how many I painted, but I'll go into it in more detail. Okay, next one. Then 2 years ago, it came to me. I was a little bit bored. My husband had been quite ill, and I was more at home. And I thought, well, there's a lot of women around who I would like to honor because of what they've done in our city. I started another project. These are what we call admired women, and the same. All those paintings were sold, and again, all that money went into the now established Our Place, which is a place for the disadvantaged and homeless. The next one. I'm on a third project called Admired Youth. It will also be charitable, and all the proceeds, excuse me, will go to Our Place. So now you've seen three portraits, you get a sense of what I do.
When you were starting painting, did you start painting in oils?
No, I started with acrylic, and then I moved on to pastels, and then I stopped painting altogether and did sculpture. And then after the sculpture and the pastels, then I moved into oils. Oils, for me, give me more freedom, and I like the fact that it doesn't dry too quickly. So you learn specific techniques of how to paint on paint. Whereas with acrylics, if you paint on paint, it blocks out what's behind.
Really? Okay.
I want what's behind to come through. Like, for instance, if I was doing a plein air project, so I've got 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours maximum to capture a scene. And this is where the Impressionists came in. That's where Impressionism came from, because the idea is to get light and color. So you learn to put down your darks first and thin, like you keep it quite thin. And actually it dries quite quickly. And then as you paint more paint on top of paint, you get thicker and thicker. And so that if you want it to show through or mix it, or you want it to cover over, and you end up with your lightest lights. Well, that's my process anyway.
So how long would it take you to complete a painting?
A plein air?
Yeah, plein air.
2.5. I mean, if you're honest, you don't mess with it. You don't bring it back to the studio and mess with it. But lots of people do. But my experience in doing that is you lose that sense of color. Like you've got an integrity. You're working with a certain palette and you've got that integrity in that painting. So if you come back to the studio and you start with the next day you're starting a new palette, you lose the integrity and I mean, if you've practiced a lot, you know how to do it. But in fact, it's that impression is what you're trying to capture. Not studied details, but impression. My portraits are not impressionist, just the landscapes are. My portraits are well, I'll explain it all next week, but yeah, I take 50, 60 photos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I want to get them in all different movement and shape, and I get a sense of the 3-dimension of them. Mm-hmm. And I get them like talking about what they're doing. We're Subit. I'm looking for the inner to come out. And then I take, I reduce the number of photos bit by bit. I have them all on the computer and I start chucking them until I'm down to about maybe 10, and then which ones really appeal to me. And I finally settle on maybe 1 or 2. I'll combine them if I need to. And then I work from that photo.
So you put a lot of time into this.
I do. Each painting is, I would say each portrait painting is about 15 hours. Those are just 4 of my paintings, and I'll be showing many more at my presentation, the ZoomMuse presentation, next Monday, April 26th at 12 o'clock Pacific Western Time, and you can work out how that time will be for you wherever you are in the world. I look forward to seeing you, and yeah, it should be a fun hour.